Hi everybody, I'm Leah of seejanedrill, and today we're going to be talking about this right here, and it's a number 5 Bailey jack plane. But we're going to talk about other planes because a woman named Anita in California, she's got a question about her block plane, and we're going to answer it coming up next. So Anita G writes this. She says, "Hello, Leah. I'm hoping you can help me. Someone gave me a Stanley 6.5-inch block plane. It's not 60 because that would be a huge block plane. And I need to know how to set it up. It was working just fine, and then I started messing around with it. Now it won't work at all. Obviously, I don't have it set up right." So here's the thing about planes. You can really go down a rabbit hole, because it's not always about the kind of plane you purchase. This is a low-angle block plane, or the number 5 jack plane by Stanley. It's like once you purchase it, there are a number of things you could do to it, like tuning it. And tuning is going down the rabbit hole. Remember, this is the Cliff Note version. But just so you know what tuning is, it's preparing the sole, getting the sole nice and flat. It's taking the blade and honing it further beyond what the manufacturer has done. And then there's this whole process, whether or not you do a back bevel or a micro bevel, or do you use plate glass to smooth it, or do you see what I'm saying? So this is the Cliff Note version, so we're not going to do any of that. So let's move on. Now, what we're going to do next is I'm going to break this down, and I'm going to show you the different parts, and then we're going to set it up to cut. It's really kind of a simplistic tool, all right? This is our cap. This is the cap screw here. We're just going to loosen it up a little bit, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this lever down like that, all right? And I should be able to slide that up off of there, all right? So what the cap does is it holds the blade, the iron, okay, firm against the frog. So let's just pull this out. This is the frog, and the frog is attached to the body of the plane. The frog is set at a 45-degree angle. You take your iron, and it rests on the frog. So actually, there's 2 pieces of metal sitting here. I've loosened this screw. I'm going to just slide this out of here, all right? And this is actually the blade. This is what they call the iron, and this is what you sharpen, and this is what allows you to cut the wood, all right? This piece here, this is called the chip breaker. So when you put your chip breaker on, you really want that chip breaker to sit about a 1/16 of an inch from the edge of the blade. Now, what the chip breaker does, one of the things it does, is it prevents chatter. So maybe you're wondering what chatter is. Well, chatter is when the plane is like surfing across the wood. That's the best way to say it. It's like jumping and surfing across the wood, and then you get those parallel lines in your wood. That's what chatter is, and the chip breaker helps reduce chatter. So you see where it's pretty basic. You got the base, you got the frog, this is our iron, and this is our cap. All right, now we're going to come around to the back side. Now we're at the back side of the frog. Now this here, that big brass knob, that controls the depth of the blade. Whether you want to cut with it, you lower that blade. If you want to store it, then you retract it, okay? And that's what the brass knob is for. So these 2 screws here, I don't know if you can see them, that adjust the frog. One is a clamping frog screw, that's the one on top there. And the bottom one, well, it adjusts the frog. And why would I want to adjust the frog? Well, it opens the mouth of the plane. So this here, the opening on the bottom of the plane, that's the mouth. So if you're doing general work, just all around work, you want that mouth wide open, right? And then if you're doing finer work, you want to close the mouth. And that's what the frog adjusting screw is for. And this is the lateral adjusting lever. And what that does is it makes certain that your blade's not cocked to one side or the other. You want it to be parallel, right? So that's pretty much all there is to a plane. Now there's something that I want to mention about the blade, the iron here. Let's not look at the chip breaker. I'm really just talking about the iron. Now, if you look closely, you'll notice that the bevel here is down. The orientation of the blade bevel is down against the wood. So some planes are beveled down, like this plane, and then some planes are beveled up, like the low-angle block plane. And so you want to make certain that you install the blade in the way that it's intended to be installed. So this is our block plane, and this is the plane that Anita asked about. So what makes this different, right? Setting up this plane. Well, believe it or not, it's easier, and it's easier for a couple of reasons. This plane here has bevel side up. Block planes are bevel side up, or low angle planes, okay? Now it has many of the same components. It has the lateral lever adjustment right back here. This knob here controls the depth of the blade. It doesn't really have the same kind of frog because the frog doesn't move backwards and forwards. You don't have those adjusting screws for the frog, but we can take this off so you can see what I'm talking about. We're going to take off the cap. There's our cap. And if you notice, we're going to pull out the blade. Remember what I said? Bevel up. It's bevel up, but it also doesn't have a chip breaker on it. So this here controls the opening of the mouth. So you can close it or open it. So we've covered the parts of both planes, the bevel down plane and the bevel up plane. Now it's time to adjust the blade so we can actually cut. Now I'm going to show you how that's done. There's something called sight down the plane. So it's looking at eye level from front to back down the plane to adjust your iron. Now I gotta tell you, I've always had a hard time sighting down the plane. So I try something a little different. So what I do is this, I make certain that I just bring my blade up, out through the mouth so I can see it. I'm not looking to see if it's the thickness of a hair. Once I can see the blade popping out through the mouth, that's when I make my lateral adjustment. There we go, looks nice. So you make certain that your blade is parallel, okay? You don't want it cocked to one side or the other because that's going to affect the cutting. So once you get it parallel, well then that's when I retract the blade. Now this is how I like to set the depth of the plane. I've got a piece of scrap lumber here in the vise. My blade, my iron, okay, is retracted. Now what I'll do is I'll run my plane across the wood. We don't hear anything, right? Pull it back. So this knob here, this knob controls the depth of the blade. And if we turn it this way, it drops the blade. If we turn it back the other way, it raises the blade. So clockwise, it lowers the blade. Counterclockwise, it raises the blade. Now, as I said before, the blade is retracted up into the body of the plane, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to lower the blade by 1/8 of a turn. And now we're going to set it up on our scrap piece of lumber, and we're going to just run it across. We don't hear anything. So now we know we need to turn the knob another 1/8 of a turn. And we keep doing that until we get it the way we want it. So we got to turn it another 1/8. Nothing. Turn it another 1/8. And we're going to keep doing it until we get what we want. Yeah, that's the way I like it. And that's good, that's perfect. Now we're going to do the block plane. In this low angle block plane, it's done the same way. This is our adjusting screw. And remember, this way lowers the blade, turning it that way raises the blade. And we're going to keep turning it a little at a time until we get the kind of contact, the kind of wood curls that we want. Nothing, no sound. Make an adjustment. Still nothing yet. Make that adjustment. Okay. Now we're starting to get a little bit of wood here. So let's just a little bit more of a turn. That's perfect. That's just what you want. That's a nice ribbon. Now I've got the planes resting on their sides because the blade is extended out. And that's something you'll want to do when you're working, you set your plane down, set it on its side. Another thing I want to mention to you about setting the depth of the iron, the blade, okay, is this screw right here. And if it's too tight, it's going to prevent you from really making an easy adjustment on the side. You'll know if it's too tight because the knob for the blade depth will be very difficult to turn. This is Leah saying, you can do this. See you next time.